Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Music Talk Mondays. This is a weekly podcast where I talk about all things related to music. So whether we be talking about our favorite artists, bands, instruments, songs, albums, soundtracks, and so much more, this is the show for all those kinds of discussions. I'm your host, Eddie Lam. Thank you guys for tuning in. If this is your first time listening to my program, watching my program, welcome. And it's good to see you all. And if you are a regular listener, regular viewer, welcome back. Good to see you all, and thank you so much for all your ongoing support. So before we get to our discussion for today, I just wanted to guys let you know about the following things. Oh, first of all, hello Jude on Twitch. Thanks for tuning in as always, and of course, hello Molly of Fun on TikTok. Thanks for saying hi, and thanks for tuning into this week's podcast. Good to see you guys. So before we get to our topic today, again, I just want to let you guys know we are streaming on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube right now as we speak. And speaking of those platforms, so I have an official website. It's EddieLamMusic.ca. If you want to check out my official website, I also got social media. So I'm on Twitch, and TikTok, and YouTube, as I mentioned, as we're streaming on right now. And I also got Instagram, I got Facebook, and I also got Twitter. So those are all my social media platforms. If you like my content that I've been posting on all my social media platforms, I got PayPal. If you want to do a general donation, it's paypal.me/EddieLamMusic. So donate however much you want. If you love this content, of course, it's not required, but it really does help get these programs going. So with that being said, I thank you guys so much. Of course, of all the previous donors on both PayPal and on TikTok streams, thank you guys so much for all your kind donations so far. You guys have been such amazing supporters, amazing people. So thank you so much for that. I also got Patreon as well, patreon.com/EddieLamMusic. So if you want to send me a message and just let me know that you want me to make a video for your friends and family and loved ones, it can be a musical style greeting. I can do that. So just let me know that you want me to do something like that and post it on my Patreon page, and I can do that. Yeah. I'm also in the middle of brewing some other content that I'm hoping to put on Patreon as well. But of course, I like to ask around and see if you guys are ever up for that. And let me know. So, anyways, that is the usual stuff that I want to go over. Again, welcome everybody, and don't forget, guys. During this podcast, feel free to engage with each other. If there's more than one of you in the chat rooms, feel free in the comments section, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, or TikTok, have a conversation with each other, guys. This is a nice, cool community of all music lovers of every kind. So, if you are a professional performer, if you're just a music fan, talk to each other, guys. This is what this podcast is all about too. We want to bring a community of music lovers together and just talk about all things related to music. So the way the format works is that I will do my topic discussion in the first half of the podcast, and then after that, we'll have open Q&A and open discussion after that too. So that's how the format will work. Okay, well, let's dive right in, shall we? So we know about this reality show that it's a reality competition that's been going on for quite some time now. Now, last week I talked about that topic regarding American Idol and other programs like it. And we talked about last week, the topic was, do we really need American Idol? Do we need shows like that in the music industry? And so I would encourage you guys to go to my channel on YouTube to watch that replay and check that out. I think it was a really cool discussion we've had with some people on here as well on my social media platforms. So check that out. I really do encourage you to talk about it. But today I want to talk about a very specific program that I'm surprised has not come to Canada yet. Surprised it's not happened to Canada yet. I know that previously when we had Canada's Got Talent, it got canceled after the first season. we had Canadian Idol for quite some time too. That did not last long. It lasted for a good handful of years, but not as long as American Idol has, which has been like what 20 years, almost 20 years now. But this program, I'm surprised, has not come to Canada yet, and I think it's worth talking about it. And that program is The Voice. So The Voice has not come to Canada yet, which is really interesting. I don't know why they have not thought about this. They have not thought about producing this. I'm sure somebody may have come with some plans of it, but it probably never got approved in the first place. I don't know why. Again, I'm not in the TV industry, so I don't know how that works. But this is something that has been on my mind for quite some time, too. I touched loosely about it last week about how would I have booked this show if it were to come to Canada. So that's my topic for today. How would I have booked The Voice if it were to come to Canada? So if it came to Canada, let's do a little bit of fantasy booking, all right? So this is where we can be creative a little bit here. So I've dabbled on some personal ideas of how I would run The Voice, there's ways you can go about it, but I got my own personal ways of how I would book The Voice if it were to come to Canada. So let's dive right into it. Okay. So the first thing I would do if I were to book The Voice in Canada, I would ditch the whole storyline, the whole background story of the competitors. Because I mentioned last week on my talk on American Idol, I said that one of the things that really grinds my gears sometimes is that you hear the contestants' sob stories, and unfortunately, a lot of the most times too, whoever wins is not based on their abilities, but it's more towards their background stories. And unfortunately, I disagree with that kind of voting to have a competitor win, only because it just pretty much debunks other people's performances who probably have a much better, higher level of quality. But again, they would lose to somebody who has a much sadder life story to tell. And now I know it's always good to help those who may be facing some struggles and all that too, but I just feel like a contest platform is not really quite appropriate in my personal opinion, only because I strongly feel that it just defeats the purpose of what a music competition is all about. A music competition is all about competing to say who is the better performer, regardless of where you guys are from, regardless of what is your life background. I think it's much better to really judge a competition that's just solely just based on the person's ability. And so what I would do is I would make an actual evaluation system. Hello, sorry, I was going to say hello. EddieLove, hello, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. So I would say what I would do is I would actually honestly have like an actual structure on how the judges / coaches should vote. I think in any contest they should have that. So I would actually honestly have create like some sort of evaluation form and just vote with a number system and say what level is that person's ability based on stage presence, how are they vocally speaking. Oh yeah, Trevor, welcome back, man. Yes, and a love on Twitch is Trevor. So welcome, my friend. So yeah, so I would actually honestly just be able to just use like an actual voting system and all that stuff. So yeah, and so if I were to book The Voice in Canada, the judges should be having what's the level of stage performance, stage presence, level of singing ability, crowd engagement, all that stuff, all that good stuff. And so creativity, presentation, whatever it may be, I would have a voting system on that during the actual performance. I would still keep the blind auditions, obviously, because this is the reason why I like The Voice so much, is because that premise. Like in the beginning, the beginning of The Voice was the meat of the show, in my opinion. Well, I guess that's why it's called The Voice, because you're not judging the contestants by their looks and any of that stuff, because we go back to what this is about the first place. It's a singing contest. So, with that being said, of course, the blind auditions are always the meat part of the competition. It's the beginning stage of it, and then see if they get selected or not. That's always the most suspenseful part, but that's what I like about the show, honestly. But again, and then after you pick your contestants who are being chosen to perform, judging by the coaches / judges selections, then we go on from there. But I still think they should just keep working on knowing their ability and all that stuff. They can talk. I would say during the first part of the blind auditions, they can talk about the person's background, but I would say don't touch too much on their life story. Just touch more about their musical experience. So, were they in bands? Were they music teachers? Were they music students who just graduated from college? Stuff like that. All that good stuff. Maybe they were karaoke bar singers. All that. Yeah, all that stuff. I think it would be great. So that's how I would touch base on that. So dabble in more just on the, just on less on the life, more about their musical background. That's how I would do it. So comes the next part. Who would my choice of judges be? This one took quite a while for me to figure that out. If I were to choose judges for The Voice, if it were to come to Canada, let's see. So what would I do, right? Hold on a second. Whoop. Check. 1, 2. Here we go. My apologies, everybody. But yeah, so let's go back here again. So if it were up to me to choose who would be the judges for The Voice, it took me quite a while to think of who would be the proper judge for this. Trevor says The Weeknd, but honestly, it's just that he's really. It's that The Weeknd is really good, but it's just that. He's really popular, but I kind of want to bring. For me, I always want to add like a variety of like old school and new school, and somewhere in between. So, Trevor, although that is a great idea, I acknowledge that. Let me show you one of my personal ideas as well of who would I pick as a judge for The Voice. So here are my choices. You guys ready? If you're on Twitch and YouTube, check this out. Okay, so these are my choices for the judges / coaches for The Voice if it were to come to Canada. So the first one I choose is Josh Ramsey from the band Mariana's Trench. So that's my first choice. And so I would say this is something I choose. So I choose Josh Ramsey as a judge for The Voice because he's been around for quite some time, but he appeals to both, he appeals to a very young crowd, right? But he still has that, but he's got a very strong musical background, so that's why I would choose him. He's quite the performer. He's got amazing stage presence. He's the whole package when it comes to Canadian rock. Of course, not everyone's a fan of this guy, but of course, to see beyond people's preferences, I do find in terms of ability, Josh does have what it takes to be a coach / judge. He did co-wrote "Call Me Maybe" with Carly Rae Jepsen, so this guy is a big deal, and that's why I figure he would be a good choice for a judge / coach on Canada's version of The Voice, if it were up to me, of course. So Mariana's Trench has been around for quite some time. They're a really popular pop rock / pop punk somewhere in between electronic pop kind of group, and um, so that's actually like my choice. So yeah, so again, Josh Tranter would appeal to that young crowd. My next choice for judge on slash coach on Canadian Idol is Chaos. Remember Chaos? Crab Bucket, Man I Used to Be, all those hits. So Chaos is my next choice. Oh, sorry. I just want to say hi to 88 Westman on TikTok. Thank you so much for the kind donation, by the way. You rock. You're one of the top donors, of course, obviously. But 88 Westman, you rule. Thank you for joining into my podcast. So thank you. All right. So going back here on topic again. So the Chaos, Mr. Chaos is, I would say, is another good choice. He's kind of like I almost want to say he's kind of Canada's version of Andre 3000 in some ways, in some capacity. That's just my personal opinion on that. But he's an interesting songwriter, quite the character from what I've heard from people. But Chaos, I would say, no doubt, he would be a good choice. He wrote a variety of hits that topped the charts in Canada, and so I would say he's a good one. A veteran himself too. He's been around for quite some time, but I would say I get songs stuck in my head sometimes. Oh, 88 Westman is saying Bruce Copeland. Yes, obviously he's one of my favorite singer-songwriters in Canada of all time, honestly. But I'm not too sure how it would play out with him as a he's more of like a singer-songwriter, folk acoustic guitar kind of guy. In that sense, but I would not say he would be a fit for The Voice in Canada, in my personal opinion. That's just me. Next choice is someone who needs no introduction. I choose Celine Dion as my choice of a judge slash coach in The Voice Canada. Without a doubt, one of the most legendary singers of all time, multi Grammy winning artist, Celine Dion. I mean, think about all the hits, right? It's all coming back to me. Titanic, obviously. Of course, a bunch of other hits that even Max Martin wrote for Max Martin wrote for Celine Dion. 88 Westman says she would need too much airtime. It all depends. I'm not too sure how Celine Dion's ego is like, but I'm not too sure. I don't hear too much about it, but yeah, think of it. So Max Martin wrote that hit. That's the way it is for Celine Dion, and that was a big hit as well. But think about all the other Celine Dion songs that are out there, right? They're mega hits and they're timeless classics. So obviously, I think she would make a good fit as a coach slash judge for The Voice Canada as well. I mean, maybe she's a bit too big for that kind of role on television, but I would say she would be an excellent choice in my personal opinion. And then, 88 Westman says Shania Twain. Well, maybe that's a good choice. 88 Westman. But yeah. But actually, no. But for me, like I was thinking about my roster carefully because I really want in Canada we're all about diversity, right? And we celebrate diversity, and we need to appreciate that. And so I always feel like there needs to be a spotlight on a variety of artists who brought a lot to the table, especially to certain communities as well. So there you go. So far, I got Josh Ramsey from Mariana's Trench. I got Chaos. I got Celine Dion. And finally, if you have heard about her back in, I guess, like in the early 90s, she's an Inuit singer. Her name is Susan Agliclark. So really cool singer-songwriter. And if she actually has quite the variety of genres too. She would do like pop, country, meanwhile singing in her native language, which I think is really beautiful and awesome, great, amazing Indigenous artist who deserves a lot of recognition, and she's done so much too. So if you haven't had a chance, please go on YouTube and check her out, Susan Agliclark, who yeah, she's quite, and she's a beautiful person too. A very awesome human being. If you see one of her interviews, she actually encourages young artists to not be afraid of who they are. Like you don't have to be cheesy and high production. Just be yourself and just keep writing good songs and everything. So that would be my choice. So there you go. So that is my roster. So my four judges who I would pick if I were to run the first season of The Voice Canada. I would pick Josh Ramsey. I would pick Chaos. I would pick Celine Dion and Susan Agliclark. So those are my choices for judges for season one. I haven't thought about what I would do for season two, but if I were to write season two, but those are my choices for now. If it were up to me, I think it again, like I say, the reason why I picked these are I was thinking very very carefully, and I really felt like Canada needs diversity. They need to represent diversity, and we need our shows to reflect that. So that's what my take is when it comes to choices of who needs to be on the roster. 88 Weston Man has got some good suggestions too. He says David Foster, Mitsu for in case we don't have Celine Dion. I think another one I would say too. I would pick Lights also as a judge, but that's just me. I'm not saying that because Lights lives in BC, Vancouver, BC, but I would pick Lights as well. Trevor on Twitch says, The Weeknd has been compared to our modern-day Michael Jackson. He owns all the rights to his songs and sounds almost identical to him. It's crazy. There is no way a male should be able to sing as high as The Weeknd does. That is true, Trevor. I know that people get compared to people compared The Weeknd to Michael Jackson. Hello, B Dub. Thanks for saying hi on TikTok. So for those who just joined in on my podcast so far, again, welcome. So today's topic is how would I book The Voice in Canada if it were to come to Canada? Because we haven't had this show yet. It has not existed, and I'm surprised. But this is an opportunity for me to talk about this. If I were to book this show, how would I do that? Again, thank you so much, 88 Westman, for the donations on TikTok. Again, thank you so much for that. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I would do, guys. So let's review what I got so far. So again, I would cut back on people's background, life story, focus more about their background in music. What did they do? Did they do bands? Did they do karaoke? Did they do music teaching? Were they music students? Any of that stuff. And I would have an actual evaluation system. Vote under vocal ability, vote under creativity, vote on their presentation, vote on stage presence, all that stuff. And what I would do is when they picked a winner, and this is where I was watching Iron Chef. In Iron Chef, they always had a voting system, and they display the numbers, and they tell you what numbers the judges gave to each competitor. So I would do the same thing for The Voice. I think each time when they pick a winner in each round, they should actually display the numbers, the judges' numbering evaluation, and say, Josh Ramsey voted 8 out of 10 for this guy's creativity. Chaos voted 10 out of 10 for this person's stage presence, all that stuff. I would be transparent. I would be very transparent about that and make sure the judges display that on there. That needs to be displayed because I always feel like sometimes these competitions feel rigged. They just pick the winner and then that's it. They don't give you any explanations sometimes. Unless I missed it. But I really feel like, from my experience, from what I've observed, I do not see a lot of actual transparency from judges explaining this is why I picked this person to win. So I really feel like there needs to be more transparency on that. So judges, display your evaluation, display the comments too if you want to. I think that's even much better too. Displaying comments and make sure it's fair and put it out there. So I really feel like judges need to be evaluated as well. They need to be screened before they can even consider hiring judges. But of course, like I said, despite all my fantasy bookings of who I would book as a judge for Canada's version of The Voice, so again, Josh Ramsey, Chaos, Celine Dion, and Susan Agliclark, those are. I think it would be a fair choice. Again, also for the sake of representation as well, which I feel it is. It is the staple of Canada. So I think it's great to have that. But again, going back to what I said, I really feel like maybe these judges can provide a very fair evaluation, constructive criticism to the competitors. So I would basically, to sum it all up, I would make it very structured in that sense. And I feel like there should be no jerking around on people's backstories, no little side sketches, none of that kind of stuff. Just go straight to the meat of the show, which is the actual competition itself. Focus mainly on that. Because don't forget, we are watching a singing competition, right? The whole goal of The Voice and other competitions like it should be focused on the music, focus on people's ability. And I think it's still good. I would say still show clips of people being coached, still show some clips of people growing for sure. I think it's good to do a highlight reel and take a look back of how far these competitors have grown, especially if they made it to the finals. Go back to episode 1, to when they first auditioned, and then show each highlights of each episode to see how far that person has come. How far have they challenged themselves? How far have they been challenged by the coaches? And all that good stuff. I think if they keep that focus in that direction, I honestly feel that The Voice Canada could succeed and be a successful program. They really need to consider doing things a little bit differently. And I feel like for us being a very unique country, we can do things in a more unique way that will make us more memorable. Like I say, I don't have any experience working for network television. This is just good old fantasy booking. How would I do this kind of stuff? But I'm trying to be as realistic as possible too. Of how would I even make this successful? So that's me, guys. That is my take on how would I book The Voice if it came to Canada. So going back to what you guys were saying, of course, Trevor on Twitch saying he would choose The Weeknd. I would say that would be a good choice, but at the same time, there's a little part of me that is thinking, well, I mean, he's a very large artist who's larger than life, obviously, but I feel like it's almost a bit too big for for a role as being a judge / coach on The Voice. But if it were to happen, I think that would be awesome. I would probably pick The Weeknd if I could, but I think at the same time, though, I would also even consider, dare I say, having different guest judges as well. Actually, let's do that. So if I were to actually have some guest judges on a Canadian version of The Voice, I would probably get someone like Burton Cummings from the Guess Who. He would probably be a good choice. I would not do Randy Bachman as a judge. The reason why I say that is because, I mean, Randy Bachman is a good singer. He's a good songwriter, but he's not like The Voice material, if that makes sense. We're talking about someone who's got power when they're on stage. I mean, Randy Bachman has more of that cool rock and roll party type of sound. But when it comes to Burton Cummings, I would choose him as a guest coach or guest judge or something like that, a special guest of some kind on The Voice, because he's got one of the most powerful vocals, especially when you listen to early Guess Who stuff back in the day. Man, he is one powerful singer. So that's one of my choices for special guest judges on The Voice if it were to come to Canada. I would actually pick Lights, like I mentioned before. Lights would be another good choice. Maybe as a special guest, but I could see her being a judge for an entire season as well on The Voice. Who else would I pick? I would also pick... who else would I pick? Actually, you know what? I would probably choose Geddy Lee from Rush. I know not everyone is a fan of his singing, but I mean, check out the guy's vocal range if you haven't done so. If you're not, even if you're not a fan of Rush, check out Geddy Lee's singing. Anyways, his vocal ability for a dude, man, it's pretty out there. Like this guy can sing high notes, and even the guy's like what in his 60s now, I think, or older. The guy can probably still wail vocally if he could. I think he probably still can up to this day. But Geddy Lee would be another good choice. I would not be surprised if he worked with a female vocalist on The Voice as well. If you guys have any other ideas, please throw them at me too. Like if it were up to you, who else would you book as a judge for a Canadian version of The Voice? If you have any choices, let me know. Let me know, guys. It'd be awesome to know who would you pick personally. If anybody else has any, oh, you know what? I would pick any of the vocalists from Arcade Fire. That would be another choice as well. Maybe as special guest judge, maybe. Like they can be like special guest coaches, special guest judge as well for competitors on maybe like a couple of episodes or more. Maybe I would do something like that. If it were also up to me, I would probably. Oh, who else would I pick? Help me out, guys. Let me know who else would you pick? Who would you pick as a Canadian judge for The Voice if it were up to you guys? You guys can be the bookers as well. Let me know. Who would you pick? I think another choice I would probably pick would have to be Justin Bieber as a special guest judge. I mean, ratings would boost for sure if that were to happen. I know that Beeps is a very controversial guy as well as of late the last few years. Like, he's gone into a lot of trouble. But, I mean, so did Miley Cyrus. She got into lots of trouble with the whole twerking thing and all that. But then when she came on The Voice, was it a couple of years ago now? I don't know. It was a good fit in my personal opinion, and it turned out really good. And no one complained, at least as far as I know personally. But I think with her being on The Voice, she managed to, I think she really upped her credibility a lot more after, despite the twerking incidents with Robin Thicke a long time ago. Oh my goodness, boy, that was cringy. Hey, but going back, I would probably get the Beeps if money was not an issue. Just have him guest star on a couple of episodes or more, and help out competitors. I think it'd be cool to see someone as powerful as the Beebs empower competitors, would-be stars. That's my personal point of view, at least. But who else would you guys pick? Even if it's your favorite, any favorite artist of yours in Canada, who would you guys pick to be your judge / coach on Canadian Idol? I would love to hear from your guys' suggestions. Feel free to do some research right now if you want to on Google. If you want to Google popular Canadian artists, Bryan Adams may be another choice as well. I mean, he's a big legend. Also, Neil Young, maybe. Yeah. Oh, Jojo Kokomo 63 on TikTok says, appreciate your passion for guitar. Thank you so much, Jojo Kokomo 63. I really appreciate that, my friend. Thanks for subscribing to my channel on TikTok if you haven't done so yet, guys. Feel free to subscribe to my TikTok channel. I got tutorials on there and piano playing as well. So thank you. Hello, Miranda. Thanks for tuning into my podcast right now. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Miranda. Koana on TikTok. Give her a follow, folks. She's an amazing person as well. So, yes. Thank you so much, Miranda. Thanks for saying hi. So, I'm going to ask you guys again, who would you guys book as a judge / coach on a Canadian version of The Voice? Do you guys have any choices? So, again, just to review, my choices would be Josh Ramsey from Mariana's Trench. I picked Chaos. I also picked Celine Dion. And of course, Susan Agliclark. So quite the variety, but I think it would work diversity-wise, and I think it would be great. So, yeah, I think variety is really important, but, you know, I think it's really cool to have that those different ideas. Miranda says Avril Lavigne. Oh, actually, yes, I totally forgot about her. Yeah, Avril Lavigne would be another good choice as well, especially for any any rocker singers who do pop punk, who do alternative rock. I think Avril Lavigne would be another good choice as well. So good job, Miranda. Good suggestion. Anything else that you want to add to that too? Let me know. I'm open to suggestions, guys. So there we go. Okay, so uh, who else? Yeah, we'll have to hear more from you guys. Anything else? How would you guys feel if maybe people like the guys from Sum 41 would guest star on The Voice Canada, or even get Simple Plan to guest star on The Voice Canada? Have those special guests, or do something kind of like, for example, maybe like someone covers a song by Simple Plan, but you get to be backed up by Simple Plan themselves. How's that for an idea? Like, if ever up to me. Oh yeah. So Brian Adams says Jojo Kokomo 63 on TikTok. He says Brian Adams, like I mentioned earlier. Yeah, I mean obviously ratings would boost big time for that. So yes, so there's that. But yeah, so imagine that though, guys. So imagine getting backed up by a famous band like Simple Plan, getting backed up by Sum 41, get backed up. Say if you do a Billy Talent song and you get backed up by Billy Talent themselves, I think that would be brilliant. Again, if money was not an issue, at all, we have unlimited funds to spend on production of The Voice Canada, what would we do? I would probably do that. Who else would be a good one too? Actually, you know what? Going back to my choice of judges, I think Kanan would be another great one as well. Kanan, if for those of you who don't remember, he wrote that hit song called "Waving Flag," so that's another good one I would say in terms of song choices. So consider that. I think it'd be great to see that happen. So Kanan would be a good one. If you guys have anything, oh, you know who would be a good one too? If they for a judge, I would say they could even get the lead singer from Trooper, or get the lead singer from Loverboy. If you guys have heard the song "Turn Me Loose," man, the vocal ability in that song is just outstanding. And I'm not saying that because Loverboy is from Vancouver, Canada. I'm saying that because his voice is outstanding. And so the song "Turn Me Loose" is just one of the most catchiest songs of all time. Little hint preview of what I'm going to do for my TikTok channel later on this week. Little preview on that. Little hint. I gave away a little spoiler there. But yeah, so Trooper would be good. Loverboy. Who else? Who else would you consider for to have as a Canadian judge on The Voice? Up to you guys. Again, I like hearing your guys' suggestions here. So whatever you feel would be a good fit, just let me know, guys. I'm always up for suggestions every time. So I think that's pretty much about it for this topic specifically. Actually, but maybe I'll just add a few more points. So, let me review my points again. So, like I said, this whole thing with The Voice in Canada, I would say let's start going outside the box a little bit. Go beyond the way The Voice has been run for years, and start doing things a little bit differently. With us, like I said, with Canada being such a very unique country, I think if the main producers of The Voice gave us freedom, or say if I was the producer and I had mega creative freedom on how to do things, this is how I would book The Voice. So again, less blurbs about people's personal lives and just more about their musical background. Number 2, have an actual proper voting system, evaluation system, and display that. Number system, comments, all that stuff. Rated out of 10, right? So that way it's really transparent. And that way we know this is a fair contest. And then number 3, my judge choices again. It's Josh. Here we go. Josh Ramsey, Chaos, Celine Dion, and Susan Agliclark. So all good choices, in my personal opinion. But of course, I heard your guys' suggestions too. Other people have said Avril Lavigne. Other people said The Weeknd. I've mentioned Kanan. I've mentioned someone else has mentioned Brian Adams. All those other great people out there, legends. I mentioned Burton Cummings. I choose him over Randy Bachman anytime. Hello, Rusty. How you doing? Oh, Jojo Kokomo63 on TikTok says Gordon Lightfoot. Yes, another good singer songwriter, who I would probably pick him as a judge, or maybe as a special guest judge slash special guest coach maybe for one of the competitors. And again, let's think outside the box too. What I would do, perform with the actual famous band to back you up. Wouldn't that be great? So again, like I said, if you get Sum 41, Simple Plan, maybe you can get Trooper or Loverboy or even the Guess Who to back you up. I mean, oh man, wouldn't that be something? That would be awesome. So again, I would love to hear more of your guys' suggestions on this. So that's how I would run The Voice Canada. I would make it a little bit different. I would make it fair. I would make sure diversity is really well represented, and in terms of not just visually speaking, but of course content-wise too. Diversity is so important because this is what our country needs to keep representing. Canada is all about diversity and love and peace and everything, all that stuff too. We've heard that a million times, obviously, but I really truly feel like if this show were to be booked properly, I think this is at least one of the few ways we can make The Voice in Canada successful. That's just me, of course. Again, fantasy booking, but who knows? This could be a reality one day. Trevor on Twitch says a young Neil Young would be killer too. Yeah, a younger version of Neil Young probably. Yeah, but it would be kind of cool to actually see a Neil Young guest star on The Voice in Canada too, if he were to be up for it. Oh, Katie Lang. Why not Katie Lang as well? Oh, Jojo Kokomo says Triumph would be a great backup band for yeah, I think Triumph would be another good one too. Actually, that's a good point. Lay it on the line. Yeah, lay it on the line. That song, that was their hit, right? Lay on the line. Something like that. Anyways, so that's it for this topic, honestly, and yeah, I'm so glad to have this discussion with you guys about these kinds of topics. You guys have been incredibly engaging, and I really appreciate that from each and every one of you on both Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube. You guys are an amazing audience, so thank you guys for all these amazing ideas. Now to the next portion of our podcast, open Q&A, open discussion. We can keep discussing about this topic too, on how would you book The Voice Canada. So that's our discussion for that was our topic for tonight. How would you have booked The Voice Canada? Up to you. I want you guys to flex your producer muscles if you can. Produce your creative muscles, event planning muscles, and bring me some ideas. How would you guys have done this show if it were up to you? If it were up to you. Have at it, guys. But in the meantime, I'm open for other questions as well, other comments, anything you guys want to type in the comments section below. I will read it and we can have a discussion about it. So let's do that. Let me know how you guys' day has been so far. I hope you guys had a good weekend. Weekend, Canadian band, Canadian singer, weekend, right? Get it? Anyways, no, hope you guys had a good Saturday, Sunday, and Friday night as well. I hope you guys had a really fun time. I had a really good time as well. It was a nice sunny day, so we did get a chance. My wife and I got a chance to walk around a little bit outdoors. It's really nice, and has also had a much needed rest after such a really busy week. Just so you guys know too, I've already posted some new content on TikTok on my channel. We already have some new tutorials, including Picture by Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock. And I also posted Thank You by Alanis Morissette. Oh, another good Canadian singer as well, Alanis Morissette. I think she would make a good coach / judge on Canadian version of The Voice. So I would say, yeah, she would be a good one. But yeah, so I posted a tutorial already on Alanis Morissette, Thank You. So that's on there. Picture by Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock. I just wanted to address this to both those tutorials on my TikTok. I do apologize. I made an error on how many times you play certain chords. So I know on Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock's Picture, I accidentally said, was it two measures of D, 2 measures of C. So, but it should actually be 1 measure of D and 1 measure of C. So again, my apologies about that, everybody. That was my personal error on that. I was trying to play this by memory, and I should have done a sounding check when I should have. But my apologies. But I know everyone has responded well to it regardless. So again, thank you guys so much for liking it. But honestly, though, again, my apologies for the errors. I'm sure you guys can figure it out for sure. But I'm going to try to be more careful next time on my future tutorials. During my edit, at least the editing portion of it. And I also, again, I posted "Thank You" by Alanis Morissette. So the error I made on that one, unfortunately, it's supposed to be 1 measure of G and 1 measure of F. So that was my mistake on that as well. So my apologies, but I'm so glad you guys still enjoy it, regardless of my mistakes I made on what I was supposed to teach you guys. But thank you guys again for your patience on that. I really appreciate what you guys have enjoyed and still shared my content regardless. But like I said, next time on my future tutorials, I'll try to be a little bit more careful on what I say, and I'll just double check before I published all that stuff. So Jojo says, he says, "Hey Eddie, you're awesome. Thanks for the help with my guitar." No problem. No problem. Hold on a second, guys. Okay, awesome. Sorry, guys. There's a little bit of technical difficulty right there. But let's see. Make it happen. 322 says, "Oh, thanks a lot for learning. Make it happen. 322. I really appreciate that. Awesome. Hold on a second, guys. Let's gotta fix something here." Oh, all right, here we go. Okay, I can hear myself now. Yeah, so anyways, guys, yeah, so thank you guys for enjoying everything I do. I really appreciate that. Jules, hello, thank you again for tuning in as always, my friend. Jules is one of the most loyal followers that I have here on all my social media platforms. So give him a follow, guys. If on TikTok, Jules Robbie _ WCC. Give him a follow. So yeah, cool. Um, oh, Trevor's asking, is the band Outfield Canadian? Let me look that up right now. Let's see. Outfield. No, they're British actually. Yeah, you would think they're Canadian, but no, Outfield are actually a British band. So there you go. That answers your hopefully that answers your question, Trevor. So yeah. What else did I say? Yeah. So like I said, guys. There's going to be more content coming up on TikTok. It'll be like both guitar tutorials, and again, the other direction too for the other content that I know some of you guys have expressed more demand for is my piano playing. So thank you guys so much for your support on that too. It's amazing how. I was just casually just recording myself playing piano, and the minute I published it, you guys responded so well to it, and people have actually used the duet feature on my piano videos as well. So uh, I think that's awesome for what you guys are doing. And you know what? Like I said, I don't care how if you guys are pro singers or if you guys are beginners or whatever. The whole point with you guys using the duet feature to sing to my piano videos, honestly, like I say, it's not about how good you are. It's all about just having fun. It's all about having a good time. That's all it is. Oh yeah, and Trevor just typed in the lyrics for uh, the Outfield song. Josie's on vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. Yes, everyone knows that song. So thank you guys so much again. Yeah. So my TikTok channel now. Actually, I should bring. It's worth bringing this up now. So my TikTok channel now has 25 over 25,000 followers, which is crazy. I still can't get over the fact that you guys have been so awesome following my TikTok channel. So having 25,000 subscribers is just so unbelievable, honestly, guys. And I thank you all so much for that. And I know I'm not too sure if I'm ever gonna get that blue checkmark badge of honor. Honestly, I don't really care at this point. I'm just really glad that we actually have a great community of music lovers, basically, who just like to get together, talk about music, learn music, and all that good stuff. So again, folks, if you guys have any, I've already got a lot of requests already from people about what songs they would like to learn on guitar for my under 1 minute video tutorials, and I've posted some already. And I just want to give a big shout out to Marty, who gave me some really good suggestions too. Especially, he gave me a nice big list, and I was being very careful of which songs I wanted to pick that I felt would be very suitable for the TikTok channel. And you guys have been so awesome with your response too, and it's been positive so far too. But Marty, I would give him one of the biggest shout outs right now, because he contributed so much with different ideas and stuff too. And it's cool. I saw like a video of him playing on TikTok as well. There's a video of him playing the chords for "Get Lucky" by Daft Punk. Rest in peace to those guys, by the way. I know that they disbanded recently, but anyways, yeah. So Mario was playing a video clip. He has a video clip of himself on his TikTok playing "Get Lucky" by Daft Punk, which is great. So Trevor on Twitch is asking, what are my top 3 favorite albums? Right now, it all depends on which mood I'm in, honestly, right? Because I have such a wide variety of albums at home. I'll give you the ones that I'm currently re-listening to again. So I'm really listening to "That's the Spirit" by Bring Me the Horizon. It's such a great album. I know a lot of Bring Me the Horizon fans are used to their more heavier stuff, right? Like screamo and getting the pit started, all that stuff. Because Ollie is such a screamer, right? If you listen to Sempiternal, that is such a solid album. But Spirit, That's the Spirit, actually, by Bring Me the Horizon is a lot more melodic, obviously, and so we know the direction that album has gone through. If you're a Bring Me the Horizon fan. But it's such a great album, in my personal opinion. I like switching between Sempiternal and That's the Spirit, just to see how much Bring Me the Horizon has grown as songwriters. So right now, I'm re-listening to Bring Me the Horizon's That's the Spirit. Right now, I'm also enjoying. I haven't really bought the entire album, but I've listened to most of the songs already. How It Feels to Be Lost from Sleeping with Sirens. As you can see, I'm wearing your T-shirt right now, Sleeping with Sirens. So How It Feels to Be Lost is a great album. I think Kellen Quinn and Nick Martin and Jack and the rest of the band, they've all done such great work making such a solid album. And it's heavier than the last one. What's the last one before that? Gossip. Yeah, there we go. But I really feel like Sleeping with Sirens has returned to their roots of being a heavy band. So that's another album I do enjoy. So for classic albums, I am also re-listening to some good old Judas Priest, British Steel. Very solid album. Catchy songs on there, obviously, like Breaking the Law, Living After Midnight. Just to name a couple of songs on that album. But definitely check out British Steel by Judas Priest. Really great, solid album. The recording quality is amazing. So be sure to check that out. What's your guys' top 3 favorite albums right now, currently? It can be new, it can be something that you're really listening to, or maybe it's an old album you've just discovered and you haven't had a chance to listen to it. So let me know. What is your current favorite albums? Put it in the comment section below, and maybe we can talk about it. Recently, one of my bandmates brought up a really this is a nice little throwback for you guys, but one of my bandmates has brought up a Mogwai. So if you guys are into non-commercial style music, Mogwai, it has such a very interesting sound. And of course, if you're also into Godspeed You Black Emperor, that's another one as well. I was into that kind of music. I was kind of curious about those guys for a little bit, so I checked it out. I dabbled on it very, very briefly. Thank you, Napster. Thank you, Internet, basically. But yeah, so they're interesting bands. If you're into non-commercial music, go on YouTube and check those guys out if you want to. So Godspeed You Black Emperor and Mogwai. Trevor says you should do a deep dive into some Beatles stuff. The albums Rubber Soul and Revolver are absolutely incredible. They are both ranked top 20 in the Rolling Stone top 100 albums. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, Trevor, a couple of years ago, I kind of dabbled a little bit on the Beatles albums actually, because I bought a copy of a Rolling Stone magazine that went over. Was it Rolling Stone or Time magazine? I have a copy of the magazine at home, but I haven't had a chance to read it after a couple of years because I was just so busy with my own personal stuff, right? But the magazine touched base on a little. They do a little bio on all albums that they've released, and so what I did was that I actually read the magazine, go through each album, and I went on YouTube and just listened to each song from the song listing on the album. So I take like one day at a time to do that. I didn't get through the whole thing yet, but I got a chance to get through like a whole bit and listen to some Beatles songs that I've never heard before too. So this is the fun experience about that. So if you guys want to explore an actual band's or actual artist's album, and even not listen to the hit songs, listen to the non-hit songs and discover some songs you never heard of before. Check it out, guys. You would be surprised how some songs are probably way better than the hit singles that were released, only because you may have heard it way too many times. So I would encourage you guys, check out an artist's non-hit songs, because you may end up liking it more than the hits themselves. Trevor says you have that one on your YouTube. I'll give it a watch. Cool stuff. Yeah. So what? Yeah. So what I'm actually saying, Trevor, is that just give it a time. Yeah, make time for it whenever you can. Just select any Beatles album that you want to look at, and listen to their non-hits. Just do that. You won't regret it, honestly. Especially with the Beatles, it's like, oh my goodness, like these guys actually have some really good songs that are not the ones that are overplayed all the time, and not overplayed by cover bands, and not overplayed by people around the world. So, uh, oh, here's a good one. The Beatles did a really cool cover of the song "A Taste of Honey," which is another oldies song written by somebody else, but the Beatles did a really cool cover of that. So I would say check that out if you can. "A Taste of Honey" by the Beatles. Check that out when you get a chance to. So yeah, I can probably do a couple more questions, guys, and then I will call it a day. But thank you guys in advance again for tuning into my podcast here every Mondays. I do this every Mondays. For all, those of you who follow me on YouTube, I have not been posting content on musical content on YouTube lately, just because I've been incredibly busy with some other musical personal deadlines that I have to deal with. But uh, I, but I'm really glad you guys are enjoying the stuff I'm doing. Just talking about music. I really felt like this podcast would be something that can bring people together too, just to have healthy discussions and just talk about different outside the box topics that hasn't been talked about on YouTube before, and or any other online platforms. And I really wanted to make it interesting and engaging with you guys. So everyone who's been engaging on Twitch and TikTok and on YouTube, thank you guys so much for your guys' comments. You guys have been such a really cool crowd, and for that, I thank you all very, very much for that. So I'll sit around here. If you guys have any more questions, yeah, feel free. Any comments, questions, anything you want to bring up in regards to today's topic. How would you have booked the Canadian version of The Voice? How would you have done that? Again, up to you guys. Oh, Trevor says, I love A Taste of Honey. You got some good taste, Eddie. You're right, though. Almost always do like it, the non-hit songs on albums more than the hits. The hit ones are always overlooked. Yes, Trevor, thank you so much for agreeing with me on this. I again, it's actually, he was really funny. One time, my bandmate from The Naturals, we did a show for his birthday, and so we were playing at this pub in downtown, and he wanted us. I mean, it was his birthday, so of course he calls the shots. We he wanted to do this one non-hit song by the band Interpol, and the song was called Mammoth. It is a fun song. Check it out, because I've always known Interpol for their other songs, but that are hits. But check out Mammoth by Interpol. It's quite an interesting tune. It's like something you would have heard on in any hipster microbrewery place, basically. Like, you know, it's like the early hipster type, early type hip music, in my personal opinion. But if you're into that kind of indie music, definitely check out Interpol's song called Mammoth. It's quite interesting. But we ended up playing it. We haven't played it in years now, obviously, but because I mean the audience is not really gonna know it unless you guys are huge Interpol fans. But definitely worth checking it out if you ever get the chance to. But yeah. All right. Yeah, I got time for probably for one more comment slash question. So whatever you guys want to bring to the table right now, feel free to type in the comment section and let's talk slash discuss it. So before I sign off, I just want to remind you guys again. Yes, subscribe to all my content here. Subscribe to Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Follow me on all those platforms if you want to. It's all under EddieLamMusic. That's my username on there. Again, I accept donations from PayPal. So you guys have been so incredible. For those who've already donated on TikTok and PayPal, thank you guys so much again. You guys definitely get the biggest shout outs from me, my biggest thanks. And with that being said, in return, of course, I want to keep providing you guys amazing content here. And this is just an opportunity for us to just gather together as a community, just to hang out and have fun and support each other more than ever. Because I know right now, that, like I said, with ever since the coronavirus pandemic has hit our world, live shows are not a thing for now. Unless you're doing one of those outdoor shows, or if you're playing solo somewhere, or otherwise we've just been streaming ourselves playing to an audience. But again, like I said, the one good thing I got out of this whole thing is just the fact that I get to connect with the rest of the world through the interwebs. So I can't complain entirely about this whole global situation that we were all facing. Trevor says, that's why I sometimes like to listen to full albums and not just the hits, because the deep diver songs are sometimes very, very worth the listen. I've heard all 13 of the Beatles albums, and most of my fave songs are the non-hits. That's honestly a really good point, Trevor, and I really feel like we need to make more of a habit of doing that, honestly. And so I think if we keep at it, I think it'd be great to just enjoy an album and really listen to the whole thing too. Like even Metallica's Black Album, "Don't Tread on Me" is such a great song that's overlooked. Like because it's in like a shuffle rhythm, like shuffle 6/8 kind of rhythm, basically. So I think that's a good one. Of Wolf of Man, I would not even consider it as a hit single either, but that doesn't get as much recognition too. So I think Of Wolf of Man by Metallica is another great one as well. Let's see. King on TikTok. Hello. Thanks for saying hi too. Thank you so much for tuning into my podcast. Yeah. So like I said, I would definitely enjoy like non-hits. I always try my best to look at non-hits as well, for sure. I actually know what's another good album too that I've enjoyed lately, the last couple of years. Disturbed's album called Evolution. And I think that it's great to check that out too. Of course, their hit single "Are You Ready" is on that one. But check out some other hits too, like "The Best Ones Lie," "In Another Time." So that's another good one as well. So there you go. Trevor says, "Don't leave, Eddie. I can listen to music talk Mondays all night." Thank you so much, Trevor. I really appreciate the compliment on that. I try really hard to be just for sake of transparency. I always try very hard to improve my public speaking voice too, because it's been a while since I've done public speaking to people. Because I mean, during the whole 2020 fiasco, I haven't had a chance to do public speaking at musical events. I haven't spoken to the public in general in such a long time. So I really felt like this podcast gave me this good opportunity to exercise my, not just my broadcasting voice, but just being able to practice public speaking and just talking to you guys. But I also still want to be able to make it very relaxed and not something super cheesy and not something super presentational. No actual production structure. I just want to be able to have a nice conversation with you guys. But while still having some topics to talk about. So thank you guys so much, especially Trevor. You rock, man. Thank you so much. Trevor, aka Anna Love on Twitch. Make sure you give him a follow, guys. Really cool dude. So yeah, and all you people here on other platforms too who are watching, follow each other if you can. I think it'd be great for you guys to honestly create that community with each other. I think it'd be great. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say today, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining in to my podcast. I do this every Mondays. And if you guys have any other ideas of what you want me to talk about, feel free to message me on Instagram. It's Instagram. My username is EddieLamMusic. So feel free to message me on that platform. I think that's the one platform I know for sure where I can accept messages from people, even if they're not my followers. Feel free to message me on Instagram. I'd love to hear your guys' suggestions on what you want me to talk about in the future. But I know I've got some ideas already from other people, and you guys have been amazing to make this podcast possible. So for that, I thank you. So with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for being a part of my podcast for tonight. In the meantime, you guys stay in touch. Stay awesome. Oh, sorry. Stay in touch. Stay awesome and stay. Sorry. Let me say that again. You guys stay in touch. Stay safe. And stay awesome. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great night.